Hi, Janelle here with Sheep Hill Herbs. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. Happy to have you here today as every day. So today's video is a partial clip of a class I just taught the other night on herbs for the respiratory system. And so this video will be broken up into about 3 or 4 parts because it's rather long. So I hope you enjoy it. If everyone could please like, subscribe, hit the bell button, comment, and check out my description down below. There is my link tree, which links to everything that is me, and that includes contacting me. I work one-on-one with people. I do what I call an herbal chakra consultation. So I read your chakras and give you herbal offerings to help open them. I have my home herbalist course. I have links for places like Mount Rose Herb, which is one of my favorite spots to get herbs, and a whole bunch of other things. So before I do this, I can tell you if it makes sense, but awareness. Poison ivy teaches us to be aware and carefully observant of our surroundings. Caution. Proceed with caution. Poison ivy teaches us to proceed carefully. Just like you would walk through a patch of poison ivy. Each move needs to be calculated and thought out in advance. Consequences. Poison ivy teaches us consequences, particularly the consequences of failing to be aware or to move with caution. Consequences can be quite severe physically, and if this card appears, the consequences may be unavoidable. That means you may have already walked into a poison ivy patch. All right, poison ivy remedy. They're saying in here to use jewelweed for poison ivy. Or witch hazel.
Yeah, my dad's talked about that.
Which works. Both do work really well.
Witch hazel.
Does that apply, Kayla?
Completely applies. I won't get into it on a video, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Karen.
Blackberry.
Oh, yeah, blackberry. That one. Blackberry. There's blackberry and black raspberry. All right. Blackberry entanglement. You have been snagged, likely unwillingly, and are now entangled in a mess that may be very difficult to escape. Trapped. You are feeling trapped. You see no escape or way out of the situation. It might be that the situation needs to run its course, or you need to seek help from outside sources. Powerlessness. You have lost your power in some way or have had your power taken away from you. Working to regain your power first means changing the immediate situation at hand. And obviously you can just eat the blackberry fruits. The leaves make a tea, and they also have astringent qualities, rich in vitamin C, good for diarrhea, dysentery, all kinds of bowel conditions because of the astringency.
In the leaves.
In the leaf. But the berry too, like if you made even a tincture or a cordial with the berries. And Karen, do you want to comment at all on the
Definitely applies. I feel like my wing was broke, and that left me powerless for a while. But I also think there's a lot more that I have to do in this world, and I don't know what it is. So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna pass around. How about? Did you guys give the cards back?
Mind if we take a picture of the pages?
I'm going to pass around the book so you can do, if you want to take a picture of the pages, I'll have to look at mine. And then I'm going to start the respiratory stuff. If you don't want it, you can just pass it on. So I wanted to talk about respiratory herbs in particular because of the winter coming up and the difficulty that we can tend to face with the cold and flu season, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to start with one herb called bone set. So the herbs that are good for the respiratory system, I mean, and I said this probably before, every herb does many things. They're not just like, oh, it's only good for this. It's like, you know, covers so many aspects of the body, but somehow the way they're designed, they, like, the herbs know where to go in your body specifically to help certain areas more than others. So, Boneset, Boneset, is this plant over here, the white with the white flowers. In 2020, I was looking up herbs to order that would be really useful for viruses and like stronger than herbs that I had. And one of them that I was reading about, not in this book, was Boneset. And I remember I called a couple of the places that I normally order from, and they didn't have any. They were like out. So I didn't have Boneset that winter, 2020. But when summer came, I found that it was growing at my house along the creek bed, and I didn't even know it. It had to have been there before. I didn't notice it. And that's one thing I love about the herbs. It seems like every year you notice something that you didn't notice before, and it was probably there, but you just didn't notice it. So I collected and dried the Boneset. Has a bit of a bitter taste. It's one of the ones that I would say is medicinal. It's not tonic, which the tonic ones are tastier and you would take daily for fun and nutrition. So Boneset, I think it's very interesting because I don't talk a lot about disease, but it is categorized to be useful. The Native Americans used it for malaria. It promotes sweating, which helps relieve fever associated with malaria and lessens the severity of that disease. And also it's been used for yellow fever and typhoid. So whenever there is some kind of illness that has a fever, it's very, very useful. And like yarrow, what was pulled out earlier, has anyone ever had a tea to bring on, like, to break a fever? Have you ever tried tea that way? So, okay, normally I think people, if they have a fever, and fevers are, dangerous if they get too high. A dry fever can be deadly if it's really high. Definitely not good. But I was taught that a moist fever is can be beneficial to the body, and moist means you're using water, and water in the way of herbal teas. So any tea or herb that you're going to drink to break a fever has to be hot, and it moistens the body and brings up the temperature to a point of breaking. So like if you take like over the counter something to bring your fever down, it brings it down maybe prematurely sometimes. And so the temperature rise can be really useful in destroying the bacteria and virus in your system because they do die at certain temperature. So working with teas and bringing the sweat on, it's like, I guess I was going to say like going in a sauna or a sweat lodge, kind of, but you're using the tea to keep your body moist, so you're not like burning up, but you rise and then sweat and break, and then usually you're like over the hump of things. So this herb also is good for the lungs in expelling mucus and clearing out the lungs. So it seems like when you have a cold, like there's like these different stages that your body goes through. It's like in the head, goes to the chest, maybe the ears. And the danger is, like, especially with people that are older and sedentary, is like the lack of movement, the lack of sweating, the lack of expelling. All of this waste is staying stuck in the body. And especially the lungs. Like if you're not exercising to, like, you know, I don't know if you ever do this or notice, like after being sick and you go for a jog or you do something and you're like, maybe all of a sudden like really cough a lot and you thought you were finished being sick. But it's like that junk, some of it was still staying stuck. But the movement, which was good, it like caused your, you know, the oxygen to fill up your body and your lungs to like expand and contract. Now you expelled that waste. The herbs, these herbs that I'm going to share, help to do that. Kind of like without the movement, it's going to help your body expel it, and you want to cleanse out. A cold can be, I think, if handled properly, can be like a forced cleanse. So has anyone done like a juice fast or kind of any kind of fast that you decided to do?
I did a cleanse, like a cleanse.
And what was your experience like, Karen?
It was like a 15-day cleanse. It was very hard.
Yeah.
It was very hard. But you ate as much as you wanted, but you only ate like khichdi or dal, which is beans and rice, pretty much, with Indian spice. But I mean, you do feel better at the end.
Yeah.
It was just really hard going out with friends and bringing my little bowl of khichdi.
Beans, yeah.
Well, if you have done a fast, or if as a warning, maybe, you often feel like you're sick during parts of it.
I almost quit. I actually called the woman that was doing it and said, I'm not a quitter, but I said, my head is killing me. And I couldn't eat I couldn't even eat it. And she said, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
You're going through like withdrawal,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like when you choose to, let's say, have a juice fast, or, you know, maybe you're fast from, like you do vegetarian or vegan for like a certain period of time, and you're fasting from dairy and meat and grain, or you can fast from coffee. You can fast from like certain substances. Well, usually when you do, well, not usually, probably every time you would do it, you experience feelings in your body like you're sick. So when you are actually sick, it's not as bad as being sick. Being sick, you're run down. Your body is overwhelmed with toxins. And the cold is like doing its job. It's like, okay, let's clear this up. Let's get back to square one. If you know how to work with the plants to help your body, like I think of people who were, you know, I think of stories like people like who would have lived in a house like this with like, or if you had no neighbors and you were in the plains, or back where we live, okay, there was no roads, couldn't go to the store. What if you ran out of firewood? What if you don't have any herbs or water? Like, that's really scary to think, like being sick without any tools to help. So, I'm not saying that being sick is good, but if you have your herbal teas and you have good water and you have like all the warmth and you have hot bath and all these different tools and you have juices and fruits and, you know, vitamin C, you can actually help your body have a little, you know, a cleansing time, because you don't eat or eat very little. And when I use my tools, my herbal tools, afterwards you feel like refreshed, like, oh, I got out all this mucus and like, you know, your skin looks better. But if you suppress with maybe over-the-counter things, some people like can be worse for months and months and months, you know, and even never really recover to like where they were, really age. So learning how to work with the plants is life-saving. So moving on to chamomile, and I don't often think of chamomile as a lung herb, as a for the bronchioles, but I just wanted to share it briefly because it is, and it's what we're drinking tonight. I did put a little bit of ginger, so ginger can be useful for the lungs too. Any herb that has like some kick, some spice will help the other herbs. It's like a catalyst, work better. But chamomile can be very beneficial for asthma, bronchitis, whooping cough, congestion, and just so you know, I'm using this book, The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies.
I saw that online.
It's a good book. I like it. I feel like Dr. Pellion.
Yeah.
Right?
It is a very basic
I don't remember.
beginner book. It's good.
Yeah, it looks
It's like if you want to go deep, like it'll get you started, and you want to go
Look at the
deeper, then
Yeah.
Get out a more technical book. But I wanted to just use this one tonight. So if I were to employ chamomile for the lungs, what I made tonight is very weak. I just boiled the teapot, boiled the kettle, put it in the teapot, and this is not a strong brew. So what I would do if I were in need is make the tea like double strength. I mean, you can even have this color. The color is like this nice golden yellow. It could even get like a dark yellow, light brown, depending on how long you would simmer. You simmer the water down. Like you're almost, if you wanted to make like a decoction, I know it's a soft flower. It's not like a root or a bark, but the stronger you made the tea, the more it would work for the lungs. And also any herb that, this herb in particular, very good for sleeping and rest. So whenever you have sickness, you want to like help the nervous system so your body rests so that you get better. So it should be like, you know, it's not my first pick for the bronchioles, for the respiratory, but like really important because it has that rest element, the sleep element, and can be good for like muscle tension, relaxation. So I don't know if you're using herbs to help with your scenario, but the nervines and chamomile could definitely help with muscle relaxation or muscle. Did you make a rub at all?
I haven't, but I just got cayenne pepper, so.
Whenever
next week when I'm off.
Whenever I've injured a part of my body, what I do is I use a rub, and it's like, or if my kids do with sports, I'm like, now it's not possible all the time depending on where you are, but if you can, like every hour, I'm like, apply it every hour, because then you're like constantly getting it soaking into the skin.
Nice and warm.
What's the rub made out of?
Well, it depends. I make a whole bunch of different ones, but like cayenne, sometimes I add cayenne pepper into, let's say, usually for anything muscle, I use comfrey. So comfrey leaf, comfrey. Oh, did you try it?
I got it at
King's
Herbs, the King's.
Oh, okay. I was
Not
thinking
King's.
that grocery store.
That's Weiss now.
Yeah, that's true. It is Weiss. Okay. Comfrey is really good for any external body pain. And then cayenne brings heat. It brings blood to the area to help heal faster.
Also, I take hot baths with Epsom salts and
I've been doing that
that's really good. Epsom
with
salts and
lavender
baking
Epsom
soda.
salt. Yeah.
And baking soda.
Yeah.
Half a cup.
Been doing
Yeah,
that.
I just bought some. I didn't use it yet.
Oh my god, it's so good.
That's great. I
Baking
do
soda,
this
did you
with
say?
2 cups of Epsom salt, 1 cup of baking soda or something.
I do half and half a cup.
Yeah.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Good to
don't
know.
usually use baking soda, but definitely the Epsom salts.
It draws out.
Realkaline your body.
Yeah.
Basically with this baking soda. Cool. That's what I would think would help.
Guess I don't know what I'm doing
Just a
tomorrow.
hot bath.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
hot bath.
I was.
Yeah, I think you're
I've
supposed to
done
do it
that.
for 40
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm
That's
doing
a
it again
problem.
tomorrow, 'cause
What?
Supposed to be in it for 40 minutes.
Well, I don't think I make 40 minutes.
I never
but
make 40. I start
Hey, a little
sweating.
bit's better than
I
nothing.
never even used to ever take a bath because they're just so like time consuming. I just take a shower. Now I
Yeah.
take a bath.
My son was home the other day. We made